We have told you for months now on this channel that the world dominance of the United States of America and its economic reign over the entire world was coming to an end. And now Russia's announcement furthers the potential for that to be a disastrous future for the country. Russia has declared that the world dominance of the United States of America, its economic empire, and its military control over the East are over, with a threat to stand firm and strike back if any of the Russian boundaries are crossed in future control negotiations. The Russian president issued the stark warning during a televised Q&A. This happened just yesterday, during which he also boasted that even if Russia had sank the HMS Defender, it would not have caused a world war because the United States can do very little about it. The warplane, as you know, dropped bombs in the path of the British destroyer last Wednesday. This had the potential, and we had watched this closely, this had the potential to blow up into a much larger issue. You had United States and Russian spy planes watching over the incident. You had Russian bombers dropping bombs in the path of the destroyer to get it to move. It had all the markings of World War III. And this comes as Britain dismissed Moscow's claims that warning shots were fired on the Royal Navy destroyer. Britain also said that bombs were not dropped in its path, yet footage came to light that showed just that happening. Why do you think Britain and the United States would say that bombs were not dropped? Because it shows that they did not have the ability to fight back against a provocative act. It showed that no matter what...
This is St. Jeremiah chapter 49, verse 15. It says, "For lo, I will make thee small among the heathen and despised among men. Thy terribleness have deceived thee in the pride of thine heart, O thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rocks, that holdest the height of the hill. Though thou shouldest make thy nest as high as the eagle, I will bring thee down from thence, saith the Lord." Man, America's being brought down.
Happened. Putin boldly claimed his navy could have attacked the ship in the Black Sea because the West knows, they say, full and well that they cannot and will not win this war. During the direct line calling...
Hey, man. Russia talking that shit, boy. This is Ezekiel 38. Now, this is prophecy, all right? Ezekiel 38:1, "And the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and prophesy against them." Now, these land masses of that time, this is, today this would be the land of Russia, all right? Meshech, Tubal, Gog, Magog. This is speaking about the land of Russia today. All right, these were Japhites, but today in the spirit, this is speaking about Russia. All right, and we're prophesying, that even though Russia is going to be a tool used to send missiles on Babylon, ultimately Russia is going to be destroyed and taken. Well, not destroyed, but the Russians are going to be taken down as well. All right. It says, verse 3, "And say, thus saith the Lord power, behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal. And I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth in all thine army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armament, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords." Now, the Lord said, "I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws," meaning the Lord is going to put that spirit back on Russia, that old former Soviet Union USSR spirit, all right? Because keep in mind that the NATO, all right, that the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, the North Atlantic Alliance was created, all right, between Babylon the Great and these various European nations as to counter the USSR, okay? Because at the end of the day, the Russians are a very formidable foe, man. The Russians ain't nothing to fuck with. So the Lord is saying he's going to put hooks into that jaws. And what happens when you put hooks into something's jaw? As it's leaving towards you, it's going to pull you back. So the Lord is bringing them back into what they were, which these Russians are very cold Edomites, man. You know, even if you look at movies and, you know, when you look at like Rocky 4, I think that was the fourth one, when you had Drago, you know, he was cold as hell, man. You know, he the one that said that, you know, if he dies, he dies. If he dies, he dies. You know, Russians are cold as hell, man. You know, they known for wrestling bears, you know, taking you know, swims in freezing ass temperatures, and, you know, just some different shit. You know, and it's speaking about, you know, war, all right? Army, horses, horsemen, sorts of armor, bucklers, shields. And we know that pursuant to Isaiah the 9th chapter, verse 5 or 6, it talks about how this war is not going to be fought with, you know, basically all these different items. This war is going to be fought with fire, all right, which Russia is supplying a lot of nations with, you know, nuclear weaponry, all right, war. They're supplying a lot of nations with you know, particularly Iran is supplying Iran and other nations with nuclear fighting power. All right, verse 5, Persia, which is Iran, Ethiopia, and Libya, with them, all of them with shield and helmet, Gomer and all his bands, the house of Togarmah of the north quarters, and all his bands, and many people with thee. Be thou prepared and prepare for thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them. And that's what Russia's doing with other nations. All right, I think Venezuela is another one. All right, that they have a relationship with. They have Iran, all right, Ethiopia, all right, just various nations. Russia is going to be a guard unto them. Russia is going to back these nations, all right, because at the end of the day, it's going to be Babylon the Great and Israel versus, you know, various nations, China, all right, Russia, Korea, all right, America's allies in the EU. You're going to have Germany, France, other nations within that EU alliance that are going to turn against Babylon, pursuant to Revelation the 17th chapter, the beast shall eat the whore. This is Isaiah 14 and 4. Thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon and say, how hath the oppressor ceased? The golden city ceased. All right, and that's what's happening. The golden city is ceasing. Verse, we'll jump down to verse 10. All they shall speak and say unto thee, art thou also become weak as we? Art thou become like unto us? All right, people are not thinking twice about what they say to the big bad boogeyman America anymore. You know what I'm saying? People are, again, you know, they're being made small among the heathen. People are despising this place. And the Lord is going to put the spirit on them to fulfill his purpose, which is to let missiles go. All right. Verse 11. Thy pomp is brought down to the grave, and the noise of thy vows. The worm is spread under thee, and the worms cover thee. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? That's right, man. You know, scriptures talk about how the glory of the kingdoms. Where is that at? But it talks about how this place with the glory of the kingdoms. Matter of fact, it's in it's one chapter over. Let's get that real quick. That is Isaiah 13. And you see Babylon will fall to the Medes, and the Medes represent the Russians as well. Isaiah 13 and 17, behold, I will stir up the Medes against them, which shall not regard silver, and that spirit. It says, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it, because Russia is one of the top nations that's that's dropping the U.S. dollar, all right? Because for the longest, the U.S. dollar has been the world reserve currency, all right? That's why, you know, the U.S. dollar for so long, it could take you so far around the world. But now Russia and other nations, I think it's about 18 different nations, they're dropping, all right, the U.S. dollar, all right? And matter of fact, I think Russia is they're pushing for the digital ruble, I think is their currency, the ruble. Matter of fact, let's just see. We got time. Russia dropping U.S. dollar. right, so this just came out this month. June 3rd, Russia is cutting the U.S. dollar from its $186 billion national wealth fund as Washington continues to impose sanctions on Moscow, which, keep in mind, that's an act of war. All right, Washington is imposing sanctions on Moscow. The move was announced at the St. Petersburg International Economic Forum. All right, so it says Russia says it will completely remove U.S. dollar from it. Okay, we just read that. Russia on Thursday said it would ditch all U.S. dollar assets in its national wealth fund. All right, this one says more and more countries will seek to exit the U.S. dollar system in the coming years. All right, so that backs up, what we're reading, man. All praise to Yahweh Shem Yahushua, man. His word is living, coming to pass. All right, so it says, I will stir up the Medes against them, which shall not regard silver. So the Russians don't care about your money, man. They not regarding your U.S. dollar. They over this shit. And as for gold, they shall not delight in it. Their bows also shall dash the young men to pieces, and they shall have no pity on the fruit of the womb. Their eyes shall not spare children. And Babylon, because them Russians, they're ruthless, man. They're ruthless. All right, keep in mind, those are Edomites too. And Babylon, the glory of kingdoms. All right, this place has been the glory of kingdoms. All right, the beauty of the Chaldees' excellency shall be as when the Most High overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. It shall never be inhabited, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation. Neither shall the Arabian pitch tent there, right? Because them Arabs love to come here and open up 7-Elevens and gas stations and shit, right? It says, neither shall the shepherds make their fold there. But wild beasts of the desert shall lie there, and their houses shall be full of doleful creatures, and owls shall dwell there, and satyrs shall dance there. And the wild beasts of the island shall cry in their desolate houses, and dragons in their pleasant palaces. And her time is near to come, and her days shall not be prolonged. That's right. The Lord is going to use Russia and various other nations, all right, to go to war with this place and send missiles over here. All right, giving our praise to Yahweh Shem Yahushua, Lord willing, this was edifying.